Shelter, rest, and peace. Is this something that you're finding in your relationship with Christ, or is it still eluding you? Hey YouTube, and welcome to this week's Faith Friday. Earlier this week, I was talking about the type of shelter I'll use on my thru-hike attempt of the AT. I'll link the video above if you care to watch it, but spoiler alert, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that it'd be a hammock and a tarp setup for the AT. I have found a hammock to be invaluable to me when it comes to getting a really good night's sleep, not just in the woods, but full-time at home. Sleeping in a hammock does things to my body that a regular bed won't and can't do. So substituting anything else for that one component would put my entire hike in jeopardy. My physical, mental, and emotional state would all be affected by the damage done to my sleep quality, my back in particular, and my body as a whole. So too is my relationship with Jesus Christ. It is invaluable to me when it comes to getting through this world and beyond. To have true rest and peace in my life, rest for my emotional state and peace of mind is not a sometimes thing or a situational thing. It has to be a full-time thing. Now, this is going to look funny to the world. I still get strange looks from individuals who think that hammocks are more for the backyard or the beach, and to use one as one's primary shelter is odd, ill-advised, or just plain foolish. The same is true of the world when it comes to the walk of a follower of Christ. The truth is, faith in Christ has always been on the outs. In the early church, they were radicals and not to be trusted by the mainstream. We in the West have enjoyed a bit of a cocoon for, some 150 years, where faith and Christianity in particular were used to serve the devices of rulers of kingdoms, both large and small. But in truth, followers of Christ were still on the fringe. In the last 50 years, the church as a whole has been under a more overt and directed attack by the world, and so followers are again seeing themselves more clearly now than ever as being on the fringe of society as a whole. It's almost amusing that followers are seeing this and thinking things have somehow changed for them. The world, things not of God, or as John put it, lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, has always been and will always be against the things of God. There is an inherent unrest in this place for a follower of Christ because we are only, as the Old Testament puts it, sojourners, temporary tenants, just passing through. So how do I find shelter, peace, and rest in a place that's not really my home? Well, for the hike through the green tunnel that is the Appalachian Trail, I'll do that with a hammock and a tarp. They have been tried, tested, and found more than sufficient for the task of keeping me warm at night, affording me a high level of physical rest and comfort, and keeping me dry from the storms. As they say, no rain, no pain, no main. Well, what about the bears, you say? Well, like a tent is made of rolled steel. Seriously, people. Hiding behind a few dinars of fabric? Never mind. So too has my relationship with Christ. It too has been tested, tried, and proven more than sufficient for allowing me to sojourn in this place with a sense of God's shelter, with a rest that is deep, at least as deep as my soul, and a peace that passes not just the understanding of the world, but my capacity at times to put it into words. Substituting anything else, possessions, fame, following money, or any other created thing for that relationship would jeopardize my entire life as I've come to know it. And not just this life here, but my eternity as well. My mental, emotional, and physical states would all suffer damage from the lack of this deep relationship. It goes deeper than orthodoxy or right believing, but goes all the way to orthopraxy or right doing. You see, Christ never called people to be Christians. He called them to be disciples and to make disciples, to be lovers, helpers, forgivers, hopers, prayers, and yes, doers in order to be like the Christ that we love. In the video earlier this week, I hoped that whatever choice someone made about their shelter for hiking, that it would enhance their experience on the trail. I hope that whatever choice you make about where you find true shelter, rest, and peace enhances your experience here and in the hereafter. Christ said we could have an abounding life now and there. Eternity is already in session for the follower of Christ. How do you walk in the light of that? I hope you enjoyed this week's Faith Friday, and until next week, take a hike and love somebody along the way.